Hello and welcome to this last video in the series, The Modern Seller's Guide to Win More 6- and 7-Figure Deals. I'm Amy Franko, author of The Modern Seller and LinkedIn Top Sales Voice. Whether you're a sales professional or you're a sales leader, you'll want to tune into all of the videos in this series. I cover the foundational elements of what it means to sell strategically in order to identify and close these 6- and 7-figure deals. And then I introduce a sales methodology and some strategies that you can put into your individual sales territory, or if you're a sales leader, you can use these strategies to coach your teams, with the end goal being to identify, take your clients through the process, and close these higher value 6- and 7-figure deals. So where I'll start is just with a brief review of the particular methodology that I've designed and I use myself and I use with my clients. It's strategic selling for professional services and B2B organizations. So whether you're selling those complex deals today, or this is something that you want to be doing, selling these higher value, more complex deals, there are 5 key pieces to the puzzle, if you will, that when you align this to your sales process, you can pick and choose from each of these different elements, whether it's advisory intelligence, having the right relationship ecosystems, how to design and present a compelling proposal, or your key commitments. You can pick and choose from these to help you be more effective and be more efficient at identifying and closing these opportunities. Today's video is going to focus in on what it means to strategize and earn the key commitments that you need all throughout your sales process. One thing that I'll share in the beginning here is that I don't see closing as the end of your sales process. Closing is really the continuation of the relationship that you have with your existing client, or it's the beginning of a new relationship with a new prospect where you are going to do this engagement together or this project together, and then ideally it leads to even more opportunity down the road. So when we flip the script a little bit and really think about closing as being strategic about earning business, that can help us to think differently, think and act more strategically, and really help our client or prospect navigate the decision-making process in working with us. So a few things that I'll point out here as we think about what is a fresh lens on closing business. Closing business is typically one of the lowest ranking skills on a sales team. And the reason why this is many times it starts upstream with the identification and qualification of an opportunity. And especially the higher the value, the more challenging it can be to not only identify them, but to qualify them, to make sure that you are having the right conversations with the right relationships. Because when you're not doing those things correctly, it makes it really hard when you get to the end of the sales process, your sales process, or your buyer's decision-making process, to successfully ask for that business, because typically something upstream has been missed. So when we put all of the pieces of a sales methodology together, and then we also focus on how to think through commitments strategically and earn them all throughout the sales process, that is going to make asking for that business when the timing is appropriate, it's going to make it much easier, and your client or prospect is going to have a much easier time to say yes, because you've been building that buy-in and that commitment all throughout. So this leads me to the second point on the slide here, which is to think in terms of commitments all throughout your sales process. So at the very beginning, when you have identified a potential 6- or 7-figure deal, start thinking about all the commitments that you are going to need throughout that process. And one tip here is to qualify an opportunity early by gauging a prospect or client's willingness to share information with you. The more willing that they are to share information with you early on, the more willing that they are to commit to their time with you early on, that will give you some early indicators about how well qualified this particular opportunity is. So let's talk some specifics about putting key commitments into practice here. First, brainstorm a list of all the commitments that you're going to need in your specific opportunity. Sales leaders, this is an exercise that you can take your teams through, either in a team call or in individual opportunities as you're doing pipeline review. So once you've brainstormed that list, take those different commitments that you've brainstormed, map them to your existing sales process, and ultimately also map it to your clients or your prospects' buying process. Where do you have gaps that you are going to need to fill? That is something to be paying attention to, because it could ultimately trip you up as you are moving through the sales process. And typically, the higher the value of the opportunity, the more commitments that you're going to need along the way. And then along with that is really identifying your biggest risks for not being able to close the opportunity. Do you know where those risks are? And then can you put a plan in place to help mitigate that? So thinking strategically all throughout the process of earning commitments, that's going to help you also execute better on things like advisory intelligence. It's going to help you execute better on the relationships that you need to be building, the proposals that you need to be writing. So hopefully you can see how the key commitments tie all the way through, so that when you do get to the point where you are presenting that proposal and you understand what it's going to take for them to say yes, you've done all of that legwork first. Lastly, let's talk about how we can connect a little bit further. If you would like to have a conversation about how I can help your team identify, close, build the skills around these 6 and 7 figure deal opportunities, please reach out. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn, or please feel free to visit amyfranko.com, fill out the contact form, and we can schedule a conversation. Thank you so much for joining me in this video series. And again, as a quick reminder, check out all the videos in the series so that you can put together a really comprehensive learning experience around strategic selling and sales methodology. Again, thank you.